Hey, what's going on, guys? It's No Shoes, and we're back with another Technique Tuesday. Today, we're going to be reacting to Homeland and hip hop, but I got a question for y'all. Do you want to see more Immortal Technique on the channel? Because if you do, send me those suggestions. Let me know what y'all want to see, and really hit that like button on this video, because if not, this is going to be the last Technique Tuesday we do for now. Maybe we'll come back later, but no promises. So without any further ado, let's get right into this. Let's see what Homeland and hip hop is all about. Let's see what Immortal Technique has to say. Let's get it.
Homeland and hip hop. To think about the origins of hip hop in this culture and also about homeland security is to see that there are, at the very least, two worlds in America. One of the well-to-do and another of the struggling. For if ever there was the absence of homeland security, it is seen in the gritty roots of hip hop. For the music arises from a generation that feels, with some justice, that they have been betrayed by those who came before them. That they are...
Okay, this sample is just going to keep going forever. Nice, solid beginning. Love the start of the track. Great feel to the instrumental. Drums really keeping a good pulse for us, especially with having this more like speech-like sample at the beginning. I feel like the deeper I get into Immortal Technique's music, the more and more and more I see him using samples. And especially with these quotes like this, it always kind of reminds me of like an MF Doom, Mad Villain, Mad Lib type of feel, where you have these samples that add a lot of context to the tracks. Honestly, part of me is wondering if this is just an instrumental with a sample over it, considering we're already this deep in a fairly short track. But let's see where it takes us. It's talking about the world, homeland security, the haves and the have-nots, and the disparity between them, and these kind of like two different worlds, or these two different classes that you might call it, that we have in America.
some justice, that they have been betrayed by those who came before them, that they are, at best, tolerated in schools, feared on the streets, and almost inevitably destined for the hellholes of prison. They grew up hungry, hated, and unloved. And this is the psychic fuel that generates the anger that seems endemic in much of the music and poetry. One senses very little hope above the personal.
And then we got a little bit of a change in the instrumental here. Those like string synth type instrument over the top adds a little bit of rhythm too. The changes of the notes really help reinforce the pulse of the drum kit, and the like walkie-talkie radio type of feel to the sample adds a lot. Maybe that's part of its original quality. Maybe that's left up to the EQing they did on it when they put the track together, but it adds a great feel to it. I'm a big fan of that type of sound.
Is the psychic fuel that generates the anger that seems endemic in much of the music and poetry. One senses very little hope above the personal goals of wealth to climb above the pit of poverty. In the broader society, the opposite is true. For here, more than any other place on earth, wealth is so widespread and so bountiful that what passes for the...
Yeah, and then the way the drums kind of like drop into the bottom of the track for a second, like that hi-hat almost kind of disappears. The bass drum almost disappears for a second. Feels like it's kind of just like a very faint like roll on the snare drum or something like that. Single stroke roll. Great feel to this. Very interesting. I did not expect this to only be a sample, guys.
Widespread and so bountiful that what passes for the middle class in America could pass for the upper class in most of the rest of the world. Their very opulence and relative wealth makes them insecure, and homeland security is a governmental phrase that is as oxymoronic, as crazy as, say, military intelligence or the U.S. Department of Justice. They're just words that have very little relationship to reality. Now, do you...
Facts, man. All these, the branding, the titles, the names of these different organizations? What does it all really mean? What are they actually doing behind closed doors? And then it makes a great point about how even the middle class in America would be wealthy beyond the belief of people of the average person in other countries around the world. And just now the disparities traveling not from just within the country but to the much wider frame of globally as well.
U.S. Department of Justice. They're just words that have very little relationship to reality. Now, do you feel safer now? Do you think you will anytime soon? Do you think duct tape and Kleenex and color codes will make you safer? From death row, this is Mumia Abu Jamal.
Cool. Okay. I did not expect that at all. Great instrument. Ooh.
There are many governments, business interests, even religious leaders that would like to see me depart this earth. I'll grant them their wish soon enough. But before I do, I wish to make a small contribution, a final gesture of goodwill to the people of this little planet that have given, from whom I have taken so much.
Wild, man. That is a crazy track, especially that hard switch at the end where for a second I thought it was just going to fade down and be silent for like 20 seconds until the end of the actual video, which would have surprised me considering this is posted to Immortal Technique's official page. But regardless, the cinematic feel at the end there, nice transition, really fascinating track. I mean, the instrumental sounds great, the sample's very compelling. There's a lot of great information in there. Definitely fits for an Immortal Technique project. Like I said at the beginning, this might be the last Technique Tuesday. So if y'all want to see more Technique on the channel, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, and hit that bell. Much love to everybody in the No Shoes gang, and I will see you all next time.